Hello everyone, welcome back to my class. In the previous session, we have seen composite design pattern. We have seen the intent section, also known as motivation, and we have seen the that is application, that is structures, and the consequences. So these part we have studied in the previous session. Now we'll see that is the implementation issues, what we are going to get when you are going to implement. Okay, when you are going for designing of the composite design pattern, so you may encounter some of the issues. So we'll discuss those issues one by one. So that is, I'll continue the composite design pattern, DP. Okay, that is a short form for design pattern, and I'm going to discuss implementation issues. Okay, so we are going to check out the issues, right? So very first one we'll see explicit interface references. See, in the first issue he has given there might be explicit interface, means we are going to use explicitly the interfaces that is being given for a component. Means component is nothing but your graphic editor, and you have got so many primitives there. So they were having so much of communication between those two, so component and the composite design pattern, right? So there may be the clumsiness. Why? Because I told you, so it is going to maintain a part whole hierarchy structure, so it is going to combine all the objects together. So for one single object there is no need of creating the composite design pattern, whereas when you have so many objects that is been created for many of the classes, so we are going to combine all those objects together, and then we are for the solution of the maintaining the plenty of objects together, we are going to maintain the composite design pattern, right? So here when you maintain like that, so what happens? So what happens here? So it maintains the explicit interfacing. So I need to get communicated with the parent, and the parent get communicate with the child. So we have seen a diagram, no? So for example, a component was like this. Okay, so within that you had got, that is a composite, so one primitive container, and the same way you had some more like this, that is a line, text, and so on. Okay, so you had like this, no? So this component, if I consider as a parent, and these are all the children of this parent class, that is a component class, right? So what happen here? So when you want to add a member, means add a child node, so you need to explicitly reference the child nodes. Even this child node, if you want to reference any of this child, a line for example, or a text, so you need to come across using this component class only. So there is a parent and child relationship between these two, so explicitly you need to go with this referencing. So that is what he has given as a first issue, that is explicit interface reference is required. So this reference may lead you the complexity in the design. So each and every time I need to come with the parent, and then I need to search the child class. So this may be advantage also. Why? Because if you want to delete an class or an object, so it is easy if you find out its parent class. Okay, so through that parent class you can immediately find out the child class which is dependent on it, and you can directly remove that one. So from this composite also going to maintain the that is add operation and delete operation, right? So add child, delete child. So this operation was given to this composite class. Hope you remember. So this operation is performed for in order to add the child and delete the child. So that you can even add some more classes for this one. That is a derived classes can be added here. That is a leaf node, I can tell. So like this, right? So you can even add up the leaf node for this composite class. So altogether what it is going to give us, so it is going to give a parent and a child relationship. So it is easy to add the elements, that is a child, it is easy to remove the child. So traversing and searching will be easier. So you can consider both the advantage and the disadvantage here. So it makes a complexity because I need to traverse, so it may require a huge memory, and adding and deleting the nodes is easy. That is nothing but traversing and searching may find it easier. Okay, so you have got both the things. So you need to consider in both the perspective, that is advantage as well as the disadvantage. So one thing you need to consider while you are going to implement, that is explicit interface references may lead to complexity, and even it will help you for traversing and searching elements or a child node within a component. Okay, so component here is nothing but your parent class. Okay, so that is the first issue what we are going to discuss. And next one, share the components. Sharing the components, usually it is helpful process. Why? Because here you got only one component, right? If you share this component with many of the derived classes, so it is helpful. Why? Because it is going to lessen the storage part, so memory will be reduced. So instead of creating the implementation for all these classes, for this text set of operations, for this line set of operations, and the same way for this composite the set of operations. So if you perform like this, it will take more storage, means it will take more memory. So when you consider in that perspective, so the component, if you have it is going to contain some of the default operations will be there. So that default operations can be matched with the any of the classes, derived classes, means these derived classes will be having the operations same as the operations that is present in the parent class. So in that way only the operations are designed in the parent class, means in order to reduce the storage capacity. Keeping that in mind, it is been designed. So almost all the operations that can be implemented in this primitives are all implemented in the parent class itself. So that is the meaning. So that is sharing a components will reduce the storage requirements. Why? Because only one thing will be there, so that will be shared with all the other different means primitive classes and the container class, that is also another primitive. Okay, so that is one more thing you need to consider while designing. And next we'll see the next issue, maximizing component interface. So when you want to do this one, so that is when you are increasing or maximizing the interfaces for the component for this one, so that is a number of classes may be increased, derived classes that is going to implement this parent class. So if you increase or if you maximize this interfaces, so that is also helpful. Why? Because the client who is going to access the leaf node, okay, so these are the leaf node. Why? Because there is no other derived classes here. So this line class and the text class, they don't have the derived classes. So that is why I am considering these as some leaf nodes. Okay, so this line, the text, these are all I am going to denote it as a leaf nodes, and this one is I am not going to consider it as a leaf nodes. Why? Because through this one I am actually deriving some other classes. So that is leaf nodes are here at the end. So the composite means it can derive some more class. Now it will become the leaf, right? So here, so if you provide more interfaces, so if you have more classes that is going to implement the abstract thing that is present in the component, So the client may not find difference between the composite class and the leaf classes. So that is what is stressing in this point. So when you provide the more number of interfaces, that is more number of classes is implementing the abstract thing that is present in the component class. So the client who is accessing the leaf node or the composite class, they may not find any difference between these two. That is what the focus is. So you need to design so in such a way that the component should have a more number of interfaces. So then only I can avoid the difference between the accessing of the leaf classes and the composite classes. Composite classes that can be derived again, and the leaf classes that cannot be derived. So that is the difference. Okay. So we'll see the next implementation issue. Declaring the child management operation So what this point is focusing is, so here I told you, no, so in the composite class it contains add operation, remove operation, so that can be performed on child nodes. Okay, so it can add the child, that is the leaf nodes, it can remove the leaf nodes. So this authority is given by the component to a composite design pattern. Okay, so that is a solution what we got for the problem we were facing, right? So through the composite design pattern. So this composite design pattern, it has got a it has got a authority to add the child, to remove the child, to perform some operation on that particular child classes, derived classes. So that is the thing what we need to consider in this issue. So whether I need to assign the operations or authority to a composite only, or can I declare the same operations to component itself. So instead of giving the operations or authority to a composite design pattern, so if I give to the component, so what it is going to do? It is going to consider the assigning the operations for leaf node also. So means it directly connects with the leaf nodes. So I had written like this, no? So it may contains the leaf nodes directly, and it even contains the, that is another design pattern, that is a composite in one part, like this. See, in a component it can contain the leaf nodes, okay, as well as it contains the composite patterns like this. So both it can contain. This is a container class and it is a primitives. It contains both. Okay. So here in this particular example, we have given operations, that is the authority of adding and removing the child operations will be given to this composite. Okay. So now the question is, if I declare the same operation for the component itself, what happens? What happens? Okay. So very first one. So here there may be two conditions. If I give the chance to the component itself, so if I give the chance to component itself, so all the operations can easily assign to the text, line, rectangle, circle, and for all the primitive classes. Okay, so then what happens? Easily the client can access it. So means there will be a transparency, means easily the client can see all the things, there maybe the transparency will be there. Okay, so whereas if I assign the task to a composite, there may not be any transparency. Why? Because the client cannot see the operations that is being taken place under this composite design pattern. Okay, so in this first thing, so if you assign the operations to a component itself, you can actually have a transparency. transparency for clients, the users. So those who is going to use this pattern, no, or the programming, so actually they will be having a transparency, so they can easily see the things that is being taken place. So when you assign the things to a composite design pattern, the user cannot see what are all the actions being taken to this leaf nodes by this composite design pattern. It only see up to here, so and the remaining part it cannot be seen. So that is why in the second case what happens, if you assign for the composite, so the transparency will not be maintained. Will not be there. So means two things you can consider with this issue, that is declaring the child management operations. So in order to manage the child, so the operations related to child, to whom I can assign. So one thing I can assign for the composite class, or even I can assign for the component class itself. Component class, composite class. Okay, so composite class here is a DP, design pattern. Component is a parent class here, so which contains default operations that can be applied uniformly for all the primitives. Okay, so that is the major difference. So I have written what you are going to achieve. So if I assign the operations to a component class, and if I assign the operations to the composite class, so that is the issue with respect to this fourth point. Next we will see the next issue. Should component implement list of components? Question mark. Okay, so here and this issue is asking the question, should component implement the list of components? Means this component part, the class that is a parent class, should it need to implement the other components? Means other components are nothing but all of this one. So this all comes as a components only, primitive components. Okay, so text, line, composite. So whether I need to maintain list of all these components in the components class only. So this is a question mark. So you need to decide yourself. So whether you are going to maintain a list in this component class itself, or you are going to leave that part to the respective class itself. So if you maintain the list of components in this component only, means maintaining list is not the correct word. So it is going to implement actually. So it is going to implement all the list of classes, all the list of components that is being present in this part itself, component class itself. So it is going to implement all the list of components that is present. So if you do so, it may occur with means more number of memory. So memory will be incurred there. So wastage of memory will be taken place. Why? Because it's a waste. So why? Because all the classes will be having their own object, their classes. It contains the references to parent class also. So in those kinds of situation, there is no need of implementing the list of components in the component class. So it wastes the memory. So that is the thing we can consider while implementing this one. So we'll see the next issue. Child ordering. Child ordering means in which way, so otherwise in what way, how you are going to order the child classes. So here, so I had written no. So left child, right child, first created child, last created child, like that it will be there, no, the sequence. So the maintenance of the order is a good efficient programming. So it will provide us the efficient way of accessing. So if you want to access the node or a class which is being created very fast, so if you arrange the elements in the same order, first come first, first third order, so you can get the element in the beginning itself, right? So if you follow some ordering, so it will be helpful. So you need to maintain some ordering while assigning the leaf nodes or a child classes. So when you are going to derive a classes, or when you are going to assign a child classes, so keep a order. So that is ordering is important. So child ordering is important. If you maintain the ordering, so that will be the efficient for traversing and searching the children. Okay, so that one thing you need to consider. And next is caching to improve performance. So that is, you already know what is a cache memory. So cache memory is a very fastest memory which cannot store the very large data. So here, so this caching is used. Why? Because so if you want to traverse and if you want to search a child nodes or a children while traversing, so it is efficient if you use this caching. So it will give a fast accessing. So that I told you, no. So cache memory. So it is going to help us. That will be there between the primary memory and your CPU, so that it will help you in order to fast traversing, means fast accessing of the elements. So means it is going to provide us the efficient programming. It will lead us a good performance, give us a good performance. So why? Because so the caching means it is going to have the means least recently used or most recently used. Those kinds of data will be maintained very neatly. So that will help us to in order to get the good performance. So means here, so if you follow the caching, so it will increase the performance. So why? Because traversing, searching will be usually done in a recursive way. So in those kinds of situation, if you follow the caching, so it will be helpful. So we'll see the next one. Who should delete child class? Okay, so who should delete the child class? Okay, when it is been created like this, so who should delete this one? So if you are not deleting, means the memory will be wasted. So I think it is the best option to assign that work to a composite design pattern who created this child nodes. Okay, so the other child nodes that were written here, so they were not created by the composite design pattern. They were created using the parent class as a means a top node, that is a root node, and soon after their execution they will exit. So here the leaf nodes which has been created by the composite design pattern, that should be deleted by itself, means the composite is going to delete this nodes. So if it is going to exit before deleting this leaf nodes, then there may be a problem with respect to the memory management. There may not be a releasing of the memory from these people. So that is this child class will not means this children, they are not going to release the memory if the composite going to exit first before deleting this leaf nodes. Okay, so that is why it's better to assign. Here the question is there, no, who should be assigned. So it's better to assign that work to the composite design pattern, so that it is going to delete the leaf nodes and then it is going to exit. That will be the good option. So there will not be any memory leakage issues. Okay, so now we'll see the next last issue. What's the best data structure for storing components? Question mark. Okay, so we need to discuss. So what is the best data structures? So data structures, you know, so that is you are going to use a structure in order to store the data. You have studied in a third semester, so that is a data structures. So there you have seen a stack, queues, linked list, graph, hash, arrays. So all these were the structures there. It is being used for efficient accessing of the elements, right? So Actually you can store the data using all of the structures, array structures, union, so linked list, linear, this different kinds of again with the data structures, linear, doubly linked list, so that you have got so many kinds there also. But so the which one is good, so which concept is good, which structure is good, so each and every structure finds its own applicability, so it has got its own advantages. We cannot actually tell which is good, which is fast like that. So every structures are good in the different circumstances. So you can actually use the linked list, arrays, hashing, and even you can go for trees, graphs and so on. So you can use any of the that is a structures, data structures, so that there may be linear or non-linear data structures. So means if it's efficient, the designing is going to tell us how efficiently you are going to access the elements. Okay, so based on that you can store the data. Based on your requirement you can choose the data structure and then you can use with the efficient programming. Okay, so these are all the few of the implementation issues we need to consider before going for the design, that is implementation, designing of the coding part. Okay, so now we'll see the sample code for this composite design pattern. Sample code has considered equipment, okay, computer equipments or any of the designs. For example, if I consider this environment, so here we have got so many components. I have got board, I have got chalk piece, I have got podium. So there are so many components within this environment. In the same way, if you consider the monitor or a desktop, so it has got so many components, that is a keyboard, mouse, printer. So each and every environment you consider, so any of the equipment if you consider, it contains so many components. If you consider the printer itself as a one equipment, so it will be having so many parts within that, means component within that. So is going to compare like this. So the composite design pattern, it contains the components like that. So it is a combination or a collection of components that together gives rise to a one equipment, a one coding part, right? So the same way is going to compare here. So that is why in the coding also they are going to consider that is class equipment. Okay, so within that you have got a public field. So within public field you have got a equipment method. Okay, that is it is been called there, and now we have got that is a character, that is a name of that equipment, and it is going to return the name. So you have got within a flower braces there, that is a return underscore name. So that is, it is going to have, means return space underscore name it is. Okay, so and then you have got a watt power. So watt power, it is going to calculate the power consumed by the equipment, any of the equipment, any equipment you consider, so that watt power it is going to calculate. And then currency net price, so it is going to calculate the price that is being incurred for the equipment. And then you have discount price, so it may calculate the discounted rate for the equipment, any of the equipment that may be. And then so if you want to add any of the components for the equipment, so you can use add, and the same thing can be performed with the remove if you want to remove the components in a equipment. And then you have got a iterator. So iterator, within that you have a pointer, pointer equipment, so it is going to point for create iterator. So why I am going to use this create iterator means, So it is going to traverse, or it is going to search components within a equipment. So that is why we need to maintain this iterator. So next you have got a protected field, so within that you have a equipment, and then you have got a private, so that contains the name. Okay, so means this equipment declares operations that return the attributes of a piece of equipment, like for example its power consumption and the cost. Okay, and subclass, so the any of the subclass, if you are going to implement these operations for specific kinds of equipment, so okay, so when you can actually implement these things. Okay, so equipment also declares this create iterator, no, so I told you, so this can iterate for accessing the parts, any of the parts of a equipment. So and actually the default implementer for this iterator is a null iterator, means it is going to always give a null. So that is a default actually, so you can actually go for the iterator then. So and then if you have a subclass of this equipment, so it may include leaf classes. For example, when you are going to include composite class, no, it was having the leaf classes there. So leaf classes may include like a text, line, shapes, like that. So in the same way, so if I consider this classroom as a equipment, so within that you will be having the derived classes or subclasses like this board, chalk pills, and these are all the leaf nodes. Okay, so this I can tell it as a component of a equipment. So we'll see that. So for example here if you consider computer, he is going to consider the leaf node as a drives, a floppy disk, the keyboard, CPU, these are all as components for the equipment that is a computer. Okay, we'll see if you have a subclass for this equipment, what will be there. Okay, so yes, consider floppy disk. So you have got class floppy disk, so that is going to use public equipment. Okay, so within that public environment is there, so floppy disk, and within the bracket you have got a char, that is a name, and then you have a floppy disk that is a destructor. Okay, so and next you have got that is a watt power, that is it is also going to calculate the power of that one, and then currency, it is going to even calculate the net price, and the same way discount price. So these were the few of the operations that was there in the parent class also, that is in a equipment also it was there, no. So the same default few of the operations are carried in this floppy disk also. Okay, so even you can use this one, or you can even override this one, and otherwise even you can go with the new components operations also. There is no issue with respect to this one. So you can go with your own designs, or you can even use the equipment class coding also. So that is how it is being designed in a sample code of the composite design pattern. So he has considered a equipment class. Within that equipment class, he has taken a floppy disk. This equipment is nothing but if he has taken that as a floppy disk as a subclass, then it may be for sure it will be the computer. Okay, so that equipment is a computer. In the same way, you can even derive the subclasses for the mouse, keyboard, so on. So you can go on adding up the subclasses, that is a leaf node for this class. Okay, so this is how you can design actually. So that is a sample code for this particular composite design pattern. Now we'll see the noun uses. So where and all we can find the uses. It can be found in almost all OOC. I will write object oriented concept. Almost in all the object oriented program you can find this composite design pattern. For example, I can tell you the small talk that we used in the first module, that is model, weave, controller. these three parts were connected with each other. No, how they were connected? That is nothing but using this composite, right? So that is why I told you. So this composite design pattern is majorly abundantly used in almost all the object oriented concepts. So model view controller, you know already. So model is a blueprint what you are going to study, and then view the representation of this model, and the controller which is going to control the model, and it is going to update the things in a view, in a representation. So these three parts are connected, right? So there is an interface between these things, or there is a connection between these three of them. So how they are connected? They are connected using that is a composite design pattern. There is a feature. Okay, so that is where that is the first uses. That is it can find it applications in any of the object oriented programming languages. Okay, so we'll see the next one. It also used in ET++, interviews. Interviews is not a thing what you are going to follow for job. It is a object oriented environment. Okay, so it is going to be used in ET++. So it is a framework. So almost all the design patterns are used in this ET++ framework. You can actually Google this one. So you can go with this one, means make a familiar of this one, ET++ framework. So what it contains, what are the features of this one. So you can just Google it. So ET++ is not in a syllabus. So it's been used in that one. So specified. So it is being used in a ET++. Almost all the design patterns are used in this ET++ framework. So that is object oriented dependent, and in interviews, that is also another object oriented graph. So that is a concept. So it can find its uses in any of the graph, glyph, the different object oriented concepts. Okay, so and it is also going to be used in a Smalltalk, compilers. So it is also going to be used in a Smalltalk, compilers, or you can tell in a framework. Framework includes your compiler, right? So that's why I have given a slash there. So it contains the complete informations like parsing. When you are going to use parsing, no? In compilers, usually it is going to do the parsing. So it is going to like collect the syntax, semantics. So it is going to match. So it is going to take a tokens, and also it is going to do such kinds of activity in a compiler, right? So compiler analysis you have heard, I guess. So there in a parsing, so you will be coming across with this design pattern, that is a composite design pattern. So we'll see how in the parsing it is going to help us. So in a parsing, so it is going to help with subclasses, for example in assignment statements. Okay, so for example, if we have two register that is performing an operation, and the third means a third register is going to have a answer that is being stored. Okay, so you will be having three registers, two register will be in operation, and the result will be stored in a third register, right? So in those kinds of primitive operations also you can make use of this composite design pattern, like I'll be writing here. So that is in a primitive assignments you can use this one. So primitive assignments, maybe with three registers, two involved in operation and one in storing the result, you can tell. So there also it is going to help us. Okay, so in a primitive assignment operations, so the two registers will be involved in operations, and another register will be assigned with the results. There also you can find a usage of the composite design pattern, and the same way, in the same way, assignment operation with only source register and no destination So you can actually make use of this composite design pattern in this assignment operation, where there will be only source register and there will not be a that is a destination register. So there also you can make use of the composite design pattern. So these all the points which I am writing now, so this all comes in the parsing itself. Okay, so when you are going to do a parsing in a Smalltalk compilers, so there the few of the statements where we can use the composite design pattern. So one more is there, an assignment operation, the same like this one, but there is no source. Assignment operation, no source only, but destination will be there. Ulta of this one, the second point. Destination will be there. So in all of these three cases, you can make use of the composite design pattern. So here actually, so all these three statements what I have written, so that is, it is going to be performed in a parsing statement. Okay, so these are all the noun uses of the composite design pattern. Now we will see the related pattern for this composite design pattern. What are all the related patterns that we can relate? Related patterns for composite design pattern. Decorator, flyweight, iterator. So you have got that is 4 related patterns for this composite design pattern. So that is, one is a decorator. Shortly I will be explaining this decorator design pattern, and next flyweight design pattern. After this decorator I will be explaining this flyweight also, and the iterator is not in a syllabus. So that is this design pattern is not in a syllabus, and the visitor is also not in a syllabus, but you can go with the definition that I mentioned in the first module. So it can be related with this composite design pattern. Maybe you can make use of this 4 of them if the composite is not available, if the composite not giving you efficient programming. So you can try out this 4 also. So instead of composite design pattern. Okay, so that is about the composite design pattern. Now we will see the next design pattern. So that is a decorator. I told you, no. So that is a decorator design pattern. So we will see in detail. Decorator design pattern. We will see the intent section of the decorator design pattern. That is a definition of the decorator design pattern. Attach additional responsibilities to object dynamical. Decorators provide flexible alternative to subclassing for extending functionality. So here in the definition part, what he has mentioned, so this decorator design pattern, it is going to assign the responsibility, additional responsibility. When the object is created, it will be assigned with the responsibilities by default. Okay, so it will be having with the few of the operations that can be performed. So if you want to assign some more additional operations for the object dynamically, you can go for this decorator design pattern. Okay, so that is the first part of the statement tells, that is attach additional responsibilities to a object dynamically. So we are going to attach the additional responsibilities, that is the added word. So additional, so because object will be created with the responsibilities only. So if you want to add some more additional things, so in that too in dynamic way, so you can use this decorator design pattern. So we'll see another statement with this one. So that is the decorators provide flexible alternative to subclassing for, that is extending the functionalities, means, so this is nothing but one single word, that is a inheritance. Okay, so it is going to provide the flexible ways, so you can use for the subclassings, means subclassing is nothing but the interface, sorry, inheritance. So for that it is going to provide you the flexible way, you can easily adapt the functionalities, so by assigning the responsibilities to the objects itself directly during runtime only. So dynamic is nothing but during the runtime, right? So it is going to allow you like that. So that is the operation of this decorator design pattern. So that is the even definition of the design pattern. Now we will see also known as. Another name for this decorator design pattern is wrapper. So you can write here wrapper design pattern. Even they ask you the question, so define wrapper design pattern or explain wrapper design pattern. So one and the same, wrapper and the decorator. The also name given for this that is a decorator design pattern is a wrapper. Okay, so why I need to use this decorator design pattern? So what are all the features I can expect, means so what are all the trend I can go with this decorator? So the name itself tells us, so it is going to allow us the decorations, mode added decorations for the existing things. So easily we can decorate the front end. Actually it is focusing on the front end design, so interface, so where you are going to get with the communicated with the clients. So it is going to give the complete neat way of representing the design, so with the more decorative ways. Okay, so we'll see this operations of the decorator design pattern and the motivation behind using this decorator design pattern in the next class. I'll stop here. Thank you.